Hi everyone, it's Ashley of Day to Day Social Work. I am a private online tutor and I specialize in assisting people to pass the license exam in social work on the master's and bachelor's level. I wanted to come and do a couple of videos this morning just to cover a few, housekeeping things as far as the exam. This video will be about accommodations, and I'll also make two other videos on a couple of other different topics. I wanted to talk about accommodations today because I have tutored a lot of people who have used accommodations while taking the exam, or who have thought about using the accommodations while taking the exam. And I just want to start this off by saying this information is coming directly from the ASWB website, so you can find all this information there. So this is not my information and it's not my opinion, but I'm coming directly from the website. I'm not going to read everything out to you because of course we all can read for ourselves, but I just wanted to point out some things that I found on the website and that I think are important, because some people don't know where to access this information and they don't even know that you can get accommodations. So I want to start by saying that if you want or need accommodations on the exam, there is nothing wrong with that. You know, some people struggle with whether or not they should use accommodations because they feel like, I've had several people with adult ADHD or really bad anxiety and those kind of things. There's nothing wrong with getting accommodations on the exam. And accommodations are really only like extra time. You may be able to get a snack to bring into the room, or you may be able to get up and walk around, those kind of things. So the exam is no easier for a person who has accommodations. It's still the same exam that it would have been had the person not had accommodations. It's just that you get to physically do something or have some kind of adjustment to your room or to what you can do during the exam. So it's not easier. It's not people with accommodations got an easier exam or something. It's nothing different about the actual exam. So I've tutored people who have had extra time on the exam. Again, this is just from my experience. So for people who like to be specific about everything, this is just from what I've seen. People have gotten an hour and a half to 2 hours extra. I've had someone be able to take the exam on paper instead of on the computer. I've had people to have, like I said, the ability to get up and walk around or get a snack. Bring a snack into the room. I've had people to have some kind of things on the computer screens to dim the screen. So there's a number of different things that can happen as far as accommodations. So I'll start with the website, and I'm going to put these links in the description box also to this information, because like I said, it's straight off the internet. But I just wanted to point out some things. So there's a document. It's called Disability Accommodations, and it's called Testing Accommodations for Persons with Disabilities, and it's a policy basically, and it has about 11 parts to it. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to tell you the parts that I've read through and felt like were relevant. So there's a part on here that says the association will cooperate with and aid member boards in complying. Sorry, that's not the one I wanted to read. Okay. Through its test contractor, the association will assure that accommodations such as extra time, special proctoring, separate rooms if needed, readers or writers, or large print versions of the examinations will be provided at no cost to member boards or candidates. And then the next little bullet point here says, in consultation with the member board and the test contractor, other requests for accommodations may arise under unique circumstances will be addressed on a case-by-case basis. So if you feel like the separate room or extra time or whatever else that I read in that first one does not cover the accommodation you need, they, on a case-by-case basis, will look at, what your requests are for a certain accommodation. And then also there's another part on here. The candidate must substantiate in writing any disability that limits one or more of life's major activities, for example, walking, seeing, hearing, breathing. The candidate must submit written verification of the disabling condition signed by an approved professional service provider who has expertise in the area of the disability and who has evaluated the candidate and is familiar with the candidate's condition. So your doctor, basically, or your therapist or whoever that you work with has to be able to provide you with documentation to send in with your application for disability or for accommodations. The professional service provider must have no other relationship with the candidate, such as family, direct supervision, or teacher-student connection. So this has to be only your doctor. Y'all can't be family friends. You can't go to church together. You can't be a supervisor at your job, that kind of thing. This is the important part. The written verification must include the following information: formal medical or mental health diagnosis made or confirmed within the previous 3 years. Date of onset, limitations caused by the disabling condition, circumstances under which accommodations were previously granted and dates of these occurrences, requested accommodations in the testing situation. So they give you a chance to ask for certain things like extra time. And lastly, if the accommodations requested were not provided before, the reason that the accommodations are being requested now. Okay, so that's important. If the disability is related to a learning or psychiatric disorder, the candidate must also submit written verification of the accommodations provided through student disability services at the educational institutions attended. So if you had, again, some kind of learning disability or learning disorder or psychiatric disorder, and you had accommodations at school, whether I guess that's high school, college, grad school, I guess the most recent school, which would be grad school, then you need to have written verification of your accommodations that you had at school. So if someone had to take notes for you in class because you couldn't see or you couldn't hear well, that kind of thing, have your school's department, student services department, to write you a letter for your accommodations that you received in school. Let's see, what else did I see on here? We'll skip that. Okay, so of course they don't want to make any kind of accommodations that will jeopardize the integrity of the exam. That's written on here. And then the disability accommodations form shall be valid for 1 year from the date of approval. So you have a year to take the exam with accommodations once you are approved. So I'll put that link to this document here. It's the PDF, and then I'll also put the link to the actual application for the accommodations. So also on this application, it says that all applications must be submitted with original signatures. Copies or faxed signatures will not be accepted, and it's a 2-part application. One part is for you to fill out. The second part, of course, is for your physician or your practitioner to fill out, and both your signature and the doctor's signature have to be original. So you have to mail the actual application in. They can't fax it or email it and scan it, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say on accommodations. If anybody has any questions or need any help with applying for accommodations, I'll try my best to help you out. So until next time, I will see you all later.